Beside my working in my eye clinic, I am a school doctor. When spring comes, I visit schools nearby. Some doctors use stethoscopes, some otoscopes, to hear hearts or to look into ears and throats, speaking and touching to the children. Me, for an eye doctor, I can end up my work with not touch them. Children are many and time is limited, but I like to touch them. They're my children and Jesus. From the first grade of primary school to the last grade of senior high, the difference is from chicks to small bears. Actually, many of the school eye doctors don't touch to children's eyes as possible as can, maybe for hygienic cause. But why do I? A touch of moment and right, a touch of sweet and warm around their eyelids and on foreheads. They will leave schools someday and go into the world. During their growing up, they will think back to a scene of annual medical check of their school ages. My hope is they would remember a doctor who gave them love through his warm hand, and that he was a Christian. Maybe several of the children are in domestic violence, some in bullying from schoolmates, some in family poverty, some are without breakfast by some reason. And the student standing on boarding site will be there. Someone who is in the midst of the storm of adolescence will be there. Someone who will meet a sad in not for days will be there. To them I wish to carry the love of Jesus using my privilege. I am their doctor that day. As my grandchildren for the chicks, and as my children for the small bears whom I got in later years. I touched them with blessing without voice. Then everybody, can you imagine a feeling of love is born there? With just a momentary and with a slight touch, their sweet memories that they once had long ago and now is sleeping in their inner heart wake up. The footsteps departing from me are like a dancing, like corals jumping around the green grass. No one knows what was happened except me, the child, and Jesus. When Jesus was with us 2,000 years ago, so many souls were touched by his hands. He, God's only Son, came to this world with his decision to die for human race. So the warmth of Jesus should be more than 100 million times of school doctors. The souls who were touched were healed, the blind from birth saw, the paralyzed walked, the leprosy got his original skin, the demon-possessed was freed. A woman who had flowing blood was made well from that hour. From the bond of devil, from the sense of inferiority, peoples were freed. Jesus' hands were the hands of God itself. Following him, when the disciples laid their hands on the sick, same things happened. One of the writers of the Gospels records, they entered the temple walking, leaping, and praising. The moment the prophecy of Malachi you will go out and frolic like well-fed calves, was accomplishing. Everyone, how many persons do you think will decide they will be Christian from the first day they come to the church? Many of the persons will think they will not come again. Most of them will think, let me see. The remainder will give a think they wish to know more about Jesus. In just this situation, how many persons can ever get the warmth of hands of someone who they met first and go home with leaping and dancing? Every person has his own hope in his inner mind. Someday, when he is touched by someone's warmth, he will open his eyes. But I read, even the disciples were severely interested in their post when the country of Jesus comes. Mark, one of the writers of the Gospels, was a great bystander. But it was before they knew who Jesus was. So after they were touched by Holy Spirit, they changed. They stood up, leaped, danced, truly praised Jesus, their Lord. No more they were the competitors for the posts, no more the onlookers. They became the competitors of Jesus' humbleness, those of distributing his mercy, those of following his sacrifice, those of practicing his love. In the hands of the members of the first church, the warmth begun from Jesus was remained vividly and strongly. Peoples who were touched decided their mind to be Christian just at that place without hesitation. The number was 5,000 a day, 3,000 another day, men only, Luke records. A couple of days ago, I saw a YouTube in that two Bible scholars were talking on the stage with many audiences. They were having their own books. In deep knowledges, understandings, confidences, prides, and with some Western fine jokes, their talks were on the wave. The audience is so pleasing. I was full of thanks. They were doing their best as the portraits of the gospel of Jesus. In this time, the voices of Christians are becoming small. Churches go aging. The meaning of the church as the light and the salt of the world goes dimming. But in hearing, forgive me of my presumptuousness. In hearing, I had a question in my mind. If someone took a friend here to introduce Jesus for the first time, shall his friend feel Jesus, the warmth of his hands? Their faces were overflowing with confidence, a kind of tension between the talkers, the eyes not conceding their dignity and intelligence, the difficult theological terms. My thinking is so sorry for them, so audacious. But we know that Paul, who was so full of confidence, so passionate to his thinking. But we know also another Paul, who now is writing to his friends in Rome and Corinth. Even we have the dignity as the angels. Even we can speak the words of angels. If there is not the warmth of the hands of Jesus, it is nothing. That Jesus used for his miracles to feed men only 5,000 was from the 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish, warmed in a boy's bosom.